B.Ed नोट्स विभिन्न राज्यों के सभी विश्वविद्यालयों के छात्रों और विभिन्न परीक्षाओं की तैयारी में सहायता के लिए तैयार किए गए हैं। कृपया लाइक, शेयर और कमेंट करें। B.Ed 1 सेंट ईयर। पेपर 4 पेडागोजी ऑफ इंग्लिश। यूनिट 6 ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ऑफ सेंटेंसेस। B. ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन ऑफ सेंटेंसेस। Transformation of sentences. Definition. Transformation of sentences refers to the changing of sentence structure without altering its meaning. This can involve changing the form, voice, degree, or type of sentence while keeping the central idea the same. Types of sentence transformation. 1. Affirmative to negative, and vice versa. Rule: use negative words, not, never, no one, etc., while keeping the meaning the same. Examples. Affirmative: he is always punctual. Negative: he is never late. Negative: she doesn't know anything. Affirmative: she knows nothing. 2. Assertive to interrogative, and vice versa. Rule: change a statement into a question, and vice versa. Examples. Assertive: he is a good singer. Interrogative: isn't he a good singer? Interrogative: didn't she go to the party? Assertive: she went to the party. Rules for forming degrees. 1. Syllable adjectives. Add er for comparative and est for superlative. Tall, taller, tallest. Small, smaller, smallest. 2 or more syllables. Use more for comparative and most for superlative. Beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Difficult, more difficult, most difficult. Irregular adjectives. These do not follow the regular rules. Good, better, best. Bad, worse, worst. Far, farther, further, farthest, furthest. Formation of nouns, verbs, and adjectives. Word formation is a crucial part of vocabulary development in English. It involves creating new words from existing ones using prefixes, suffixes, or changing the base form. 1. Formation of nouns. Nouns can be formed from a. Verbs. Nouns by adding ment, tien, cyan, ing, or etc. Verb. Noun. Achieve, achievement. Inform, information. Decide, decision. Build, building. Teach, teacher. Act, actor. For B. Adjectives. Nouns by adding ness, ity, cy, etc. Adjective. Noun. Kind, kindness. Active, activity. Accurate, accuracy. Honest, honesty. C. Noun. Noun by adding suffixes like hood, ship, dam, ism. Base. Noun. New noun. Brother, brotherhood. King, kingdom. Friend, friendship. Leader, leadership. Marx, Marxism. Though formation of verbs. Verbs can be formed from a. Nouns. Verbs by adding prefixes, suffixes like ify, n, ate, or using the noun directly as a verb. Noun. Verb. Class, classify. Strength, strengthen. Beauty, beautify. Vaccine, vaccinate. Terror, terrorize. B. Adjectives. Verbs. Adjective. Verb. Weak, weaken. Sweet, sweeten. Modern, modernize. Active, activate. Formation of adjectives. Adjectives can be formed from a. Nouns. Adjectives by adding fool, less, os, ike, etc. Noun. Adjective. Beauty, beautiful. Hope, hopeful, bata, hopeless. Danger, dangerous. Music, musical. Child, childish. B. Verbs, adjectives. Verb, adjective. Tire, tired bata tiring. Interest, interesting bata interested. Please, pleased bata pleasing. Break, broken. C. Adjectives, adjectives, by adding intensifiers. Adjective, new adjective. Kind, unkind. Proper, improper. Regular, irregular. Happy, unhappy. B. 9. Basic verb pattern of English. Basic verb patterns in English. A verb pattern refers to the structure that follows a main verb in a sentence. Different verbs are followed by different types of words or phrases. Common verb patterns. एक verb plus infinitive, to plus base verb. Some verbs are followed by to plus base form of another verb. Structure, verb plus to plus verb. Examples. Want to go. She decided to stay. We plan to travel. Common verbs. Want, decide, plan, hope, promise, agree, learn, need, forget. Do, verb plus gerund, verb plus ing. Some verbs are followed by the ing form of a verb called a gerund. Structure, verb plus verb ing. Examples. I enjoy reading. She avoids talking to strangers. They finished working early. Common verbs: enjoy, avoid, finish, consider, suggest, mind, deny, keep, miss. Teen, verb plus object plus infinitive. Some verbs take an object before the infinitive. Structure, verb plus object plus to plus verb. Examples. She told him to wait. I want you to listen. They asked us to leave. Common verbs: tell, ask, want, advise, order, persuade, remind, teach. Char, verb plus object plus bare infinitive without to. Some verbs are followed by an object and then the base form of the verb without to. Structure, verb plus object plus verb. Examples. I made him cry. She let the children play. We saw them leave. Common verbs: make, let, see, hear, watch, feel, often used in causative or perception. 5. Verb plus that clause. Some verbs are followed by a that clause, a full sentence starting with that. Structure, verb plus that plus clause. Examples. I think that she is right. He believes that they won. She said that she was busy. Common verbs: think, believe, say, know, hope, report, suggest, explain. 6. Verb plus wh word plus infinitive. Some verbs are followed by question words: what, how, where, etc. and to plus base verb. Structure, verb plus wh word plus to plus verb. Examples. I don't know what to do. She explained how to solve the problem. He showed me where to go. Common verbs: know, explain, tell, show, wonder, decide, ask. 7. Verb plus object plus verb ing. Some verbs are followed by an object plus gerund. Structure, verb plus object plus verb ing. Examples. I caught him stealing. We saw her crying. They watched the boy running. Common verbs: catch, find, hear, see, watch, notice. Types of remedial teaching strategies. Char, drill and practice. Description. Repetitive practice to reinforce basic skills and concepts. Features. Use of worksheets, quizzes, flashcards. Immediate feedback and correction. Best for arithmetic operations, grammar rules, vocabulary. 5. Error analysis and correction. Description. Analyzing the types of mistakes made by students and correcting them systematically. Features: helps identify conceptual misunderstandings. Encourages self-correction and awareness. Best for language learning, writing, and math errors. 6. Multisensory learning. Description: teaching using visual, auditory, and kinesthetic methods. Features: appeals to different learning styles. Helps in better retention and understanding. Best for students with learning disabilities. Teaching letters, numbers, sounds, and spellings. 7. Use of educational technology. Description: incorporating digital tools and software into remedial teaching. Features: interactive learning, videos, games, apps. Self-paced and engaging. Best for reading programs, math tutorials, grammar apps. 8. Remedial worksheets and assignments. Description: providing targeted exercises focusing on a particular skill or topic. Features: can be used for home practice or classroom. Reinforces lessons taught. Best for practicing spelling, sentence correction, math problems. 9. Reteaching with modified content. Description: simplifying the lesson or reteaching it using different methods or examples. Features: breaks complex topics into smaller parts. Uses real-life examples. Best for complex grammar topics, math formulas, science concepts. Thus, behavior and motivation strategies. Description: addressing emotional and motivational barriers to learning. Features: use of positive reinforcement, counseling support, goal setting and rewards. Best for students with low self-esteem or lack of interest. Progress and assessment of development of language. Main characteristics of evaluation. 8. Continuous and comprehensive. Evaluation is not a one-time activity. It occurs throughout the teaching learning process. It includes both academic, scholastic, and non-academic, co-scholastic aspects. Example: assessing a student's performance in both exams and extracurricular activities like debates or teamwork. Though goal-oriented, evaluation is done with specific objectives in mind to measure how well students have achieved learning outcomes. Example: if the learning objective is to solve algebraic equations, the evaluation will test that specific skill. Teen diagnostic and remedial. Evaluation helps identify learning difficulties and suggests remedial measures. Example: a math test reveals that a student struggles with fractions. The teacher gives targeted practice exercises. 4. Continuous feedback. Evaluation provides regular feedback to both teachers and students, helping improve instruction and learning. Example: weekly quizzes help track progress and adjust teaching methods. 5. Comprehensive in scope. It covers cognitive, knowledge, affective, attitudes, and psychomotor skills domains. Example: evaluating a science project, cognitive, teamwork in group tasks, affective, and laboratory skills, psychomotor. 6. Objective and reliable. Good evaluation tools must be free from personal bias and provide consistent results. Example: a multiple choice test with a clear marking key ensures objective grading. Basic principles of evaluation with examples. 1. Principle of clarity of objectives. Evaluation must be based on clearly defined learning objectives. Example: if the objective is to assess reading comprehension, The evaluation should test understanding, not just speed or pronunciation. Though principle of continuity. Evaluation should be a continuous process, not limited to final exams. Example: monthly assessments, class participation, and projects together provide a clearer picture than one final test. Teen principle of comprehensiveness. It should cover all areas of student development, knowledge, skills, and attitudes. Example: report cards should include academics, discipline, teamwork, and creativity. Basic principles of evaluation with examples. 4. Principle of objectivity. Evaluation must be fair, unbiased, and based on evidence, not personal opinion. Example: use of rubrics and standardized tests ensures fairness in grading. 5. Principle of appropriate techniques. Use suitable tools and techniques for each type of learning outcome. Example: MCQs for factual knowledge. Practical experiments for science skills. Observation for social behavior. 6. Principle of feedback and improvement. Evaluation must help learners and teachers improve performance through timely feedback. Example: teachers return graded essays with comments on how to improve writing structure. Continuous and comprehensive evaluation. Definition of evaluation. Evaluation is the systematic process of collecting, analyzing, and interpreting information to determine the extent to which learning objectives have been achieved. In simple terms, evaluation helps teachers understand what students have learned, how well they've learned it, and what needs improvement both in teaching and learning. Purpose of evaluation in English language teaching (ELT). To measure students' language proficiency. To assess communication skills, listening, speaking, reading, writing. To identify strengths and weaknesses. To guide instructional decisions. To provide feedback and support. Written test. Step 3. Prepare a test blueprint. A test blueprint outlines topics to be covered, number and types of questions, marks distribution, time allocation, objective type text. Objective type tests are assessments in which the answers are fixed, precise, and not open to interpretation. These tests have only one correct answer, and scoring is usually quick and unbiased. They are used to assess factual knowledge, grammar, vocabulary, comprehension, spelling, basic reasoning. Key features: easy to score, often with an answer key or OMR. Eliminates bias in grading. Useful for testing a large number of students. Tests recall, understanding, and application. Types of objective type tests, with examples. 1. Multiple choice questions (MCQs). Description. Students choose the correct answer from a set of options, usually 4. Example. Q. Which sentence is in the present perfect tense? A. I eat lunch. B. I ate lunch. C. I have eaten lunch. D. I will eat lunch. Do fill in the blanks. Description. Students fill in the missing word or phrase. Example. Q. He go to school every day. Answer: goes. Tip often used to test grammar, verb forms, articles, etc. Teen: true or false. Description. Students state whether a given statement is true or false. Example. Q. A noun is a word that shows action. Answer: false. It defines a verb, not a noun. 4 matching type. Description. 2 columns are given. Students must match items from one column with the correct ones in the other. Example. What are objective type tests? 7. One-word substitution. Description. Students choose or provide one word that represents a phrase. Example. Q. A person who writes poems. Answer. Poet. 8. Error detection bata correction. Description. Students find and correct the error in a sentence. Example. Q. She don't like apples. Answer. Doesn't. No. Short answer type. Factual. Description. Students answer in one word or one short sentence. Example. Q. What is the past tense of go? Answer. Went. Essay type tests. It looks like you are asking how to discuss an essay type question in detail rather than giving me a specific question to answer. So, I'll explain how to approach and discuss an essay type question in detail step by step. How to discuss an essay type question in detail. Essay type questions are open-ended and require structured, critical, and comprehensive responses. They test your ability to analyze, explain, argue, and synthesize information on a given topic. Step 8. Understand the question. Break down the question to understand what it's asking. Look for key directive words such as discuss, provide a balanced argument with evidence and analysis. Evaluate, judge the value or impact with pros and cons. Analyze, break down into components and explore in detail. Example, discuss the impact of climate change on global food security. This requires an explanation of both climate change and food security and how one affects the other. Step 2. Plan your essay. Before writing, sketch a basic outline. Introduction. Body paragraphs, typically 2-5, depending on word count. Conclusion. Use a rough structure like this. Intro, define key terms plus state your thesis main idea. Body, break into themes or arguments, e.g., economic impact, health, social effects. Conclusion, summarize key points plus restate thesis plus offer insight. Step 10. Write the introduction. The introduction should introduce the topic clearly. Define any key terms or concepts. Provide background context if necessary. State your thesis statement, the central point or stance your essay will argue or explore. Example, intro, shortened climate change, driven by global greenhouse gas emissions, poses a serious threat to global food security. This essay discusses how rising temperatures, erratic weather patterns, and shifting agricultural zones impact food production and access. Step 4. Develop the body paragraphs. Each paragraph should focus on one main point with supporting details. Structure of a good paragraph. Topic sentence introduces the paragraph's main idea. Explanation, elaborate on the point. Evidence, examples, use data, studies, or real-world examples. Link back, connect it to the essay question and your thesis. Example paragraph structure. Topic sentence, climate change affects crop yields by increasing the frequency of droughts and floods. Explanation, crops are sensitive to temperature and water availability, and extreme weather can destroy harvests. Evidence, according to the IPCC, global MAG yields could decline by 10% per degree of warming. Link back, this demonstrates how climate change can undermine food security, particularly in vulnerable regions. Repeat this structure for each paragraph with a new point. Step 5. Write the conclusion. The conclusion should restate the thesis in a fresh way. Summarize the key arguments made. Offer insight or a final thought, possibly a solution, a prediction, or a call for action. Example conclusion, shortened in conclusion, climate change significantly threatens global food security through reduced crop yields, disrupted supply chains, and increased food prices. Addressing this challenge requires international cooperation, sustainable farming practices, and climate adaptation strategies. Step 6. Review and refine. After writing, check for clarity. Is your argument easy to follow? Ensure cohesion. Do your paragraphs flow logically? Edit grammar and spelling. Stay within word limits. Portfolio. Meaning of portfolio. A portfolio is a purposeful collection of a student's work that showcases their learning progress, achievements, efforts, and abilities over time. It includes various types of materials such as assignments, projects, reflections, assessments, and other evidence of learning. In simple terms, a student portfolio is like a folder or file, physical or digital, where students collect their best work to demonstrate what they have learned, how they've improved, and what skills they have developed. Types of student portfolios. There are several types of student portfolios, depending on their purpose. Here are the main types. 1. Working portfolio. Purpose: collection of all work a student completes over a period. Features: includes drafts, rough work, completed tasks, not just the best work. Use: helps track progress and identify strengths, weaknesses. 2. Showcase portfolio, display portfolio. Purpose: to highlight the student's best work. Features: only selected high-quality pieces are included. Used for presentations, job college applications, or parent-teacher meetings. Close test. What do you mean by close? A close test, often misspelled as close test, is a type of language exercise where words are removed from a passage at regular intervals, and the student is required to fill in the blanks using context clues and language knowledge. Definition of close test. A close test is a reading comprehension exercise where words are omitted from a passage at regular intervals, e.g., every 5th word, and the learner must fill in the missing words to complete the text meaningfully. Purpose of close test: to assess reading comprehension, to test vocabulary knowledge, to evaluate grammar and syntax understanding, to encourage contextual guessing skills. Example of a close test: the sun was shining and the sky was very warm. Children were playing in the 2. It was a perfect day for a 3 at the park. Answers: blue. Their confidence and understanding. Suggestions for English language teachers to hold a close test. Here are some practical suggestions for English teachers when creating and conducting a close test. 1. Select an appropriate text. Choose a passage suitable to the student's level, e.g., from a textbook, story, article. The content should be engaging and context-rich to allow for logical word prediction. Though decide the deletion pattern. Delete every 5th or 7th word, standard practice, or delete specific parts of speech, e.g., all verbs, nouns, prepositions, to focus on grammar skills. 3. Leave the first few sentences intact. Let students get a contextual understanding of the passage before encountering blanks. This boosts their confidence and understanding. 4. Give clear instructions. Tell students whether they should use exact words or logical alternatives. Mention if spelling and grammar will be assessed. 5. Use a word bank optional. For lower-level students, provide a word bank, a list of possible words to choose from. This makes the test less frustrating and more supportive. 6. Focus on meaning and structure. Teach students to read the entire sentence before filling in the blank. Encourage them to consider grammar, tense, number, etc. and meaning. 7. Use cloze tests formatively. Don't use them only for grading, use them as a learning tool in reading or vocabulary lessons. After the test, discuss the answers as a class to promote active learning. 8. Differentiate for mixed ability. For weaker students, provide hints or allow multiple choices. For stronger students, leave blanks open-ended or increase the number of deletions. 9. Assess multiple skills. Design cloze tests that assess vocabulary, grammar, reading comprehension, and spelling together. Thus, review and feedback. After administering the test, go over the answers with students. Encourage them to explain their choices. This builds metacognitive skills. 7. Self-evaluation. Why is self-evaluation important for a teacher? Self-evaluation is the process by which a teacher reflects on their own teaching practices, strengths, and areas for improvement. It plays a crucial role in professional growth and the overall quality of education. Importance of self-evaluation for a teacher. Here are several key reasons why self-evaluation is important. 8. Promotes professional growth. Self-evaluation helps teachers identify what they are doing well and what they can improve. It encourages continuous learning and development of new teaching strategies. Example, a teacher might realize they need to improve classroom management and take a course on behavior strategies. Though improves teaching effectiveness. By reflecting on lesson plans, delivery, and student responses, teachers can adapt their methods to meet student needs better. This leads to more engaging and impactful lessons. Teen encourages reflective practice. Reflecting on teaching experiences helps educators become more aware of their teaching style, decision-making, and classroom environment. It turns experience into learning. 4. Supports student achievement. When teachers adjust their teaching based on self-assessment, students benefit from more effective instruction. Teachers can identify if students are struggling due to unclear instruction or lack of engagement. 5. Increases accountability. Self-evaluation shows that a teacher is responsible for their own performance and willing to improve. This builds trust with administrators, students, and parents. 6. Helps set realistic goals. Self-reflection allows teachers to set specific, measurable, and achievable goals for their teaching. These goals guide professional development and improvement plans. 7. Adapts to changing needs. Every classroom is different. Self-evaluation helps teachers adapt to new student needs, curriculum changes, or teaching technologies. 8. Boosts confidence. Recognizing personal progress and strengths can increase a teacher's self-confidence and job satisfaction. Common areas teachers reflect on during self-evaluation. Classroom management. Student engagement. Clarity of instruction. Assessment techniques. Use of teaching aids or technology. Communication with students and parents. classroom management, student engagement, clarity of instruction, assessment techniques, use of teaching aids or technology, communication with students and parents. Example self-evaluation questions for teachers. Did my students achieve the lesson objectives? Were all students actively engaged? What teaching strategy worked best today? Why? What could I improve in my delivery? Did I create an inclusive and respectful environment? Conclusion. Self-evaluation is essential for any teacher who wants to improve their teaching, support student learning, and grow professionally. It transforms everyday teaching into a thoughtful, purposeful, and continually improving practice. Advantages of peer evaluation. Advantage explanation. 1. Encourages active learning. Students become more involved in the learning process by evaluating others' work. It enhances critical thinking. 2. Develops analytical and reflective skills. Students learn to assess quality, give feedback, and reflect on what makes work effective or not. 3. Promotes responsibility and accountability in group work. Students are more motivated to contribute fairly when they know peers will assess them. 4. Improves communication and feedback skills. Giving and receiving feedback helps students learn how to express opinions respectfully and constructively. 5. Offers multiple perspectives. Students receive feedback from several peers, giving them a broader view of their strengths and weaknesses. 6. Supports teacher assessment. Helps the teacher get more detailed insights into group dynamics or individual contributions in group tasks. 7. Builds confidence. Both giving and receiving peer feedback can help students gain confidence in their abilities. Disadvantages of peer evaluation. Disadvantage explanation. 1. Lack of objectivity. Students might be biased, either too lenient with friends or too harsh due to personal conflicts. 2. Inexperience in judging quality. Students may lack the skills to give fair or accurate assessments, especially at younger ages. 3. Fear of negative feedback. Some students may feel uncomfortable giving or receiving criticism, affecting their motivation or self-esteem. 4. Possibility of conflict. Negative evaluations can lead to arguments or damaged relationships among students. 5. Time-consuming. Training students on how to evaluate fairly and analyzing peer feedback can take time. 6. Can undermine teacher authority. If not managed well, students might question the fairness of peer evaluations compared to teacher grades. 7. Pressure to please. Some students may not give honest feedback because they fear hurting someone's feelings or being disliked. Tips to make peer evaluation effective. Provide clear rubrics or criteria. Train students on how to give constructive feedback. Make it anonymous if possible. Monitor for fairness and accuracy. Combine with self and teacher evaluation. Use it formatively, not just for grading. Conclusion. Peer evaluation can be a powerful tool to engage students in deeper learning and reflection, but it must be carefully structured to avoid issues like bias or conflict. When done well, it builds valuable life skills such as communication, collaboration, and critical thinking. Group evaluation. Certainly. Here's a detailed explanation of the advantages and disadvantages of group evaluation, especially in a classroom or educational setting. What is group evaluation? Group evaluation refers to the process of assessing the performance, participation, and outcomes of a group of students working together on a task or project. It can include Evaluating the group as a whole. Allowing group members to evaluate each other. The teacher evaluating each student's contribution to group work. Advantages of group evaluation. Advantage explanation. 1. Encourages teamwork. Group evaluation promotes collaboration and teaches students how to work effectively with others. 2. Develops communication skills. Students learn to express ideas, listen actively, and resolve conflicts. 3. Reflects real-world skills in real-life workplaces. Success often depends on teamwork. Group evaluation prepares students for this. 4. Encourages equal participation. Knowing that their contribution will be evaluated motivates students to participate more actively. 5. Improves responsibility and accountability. Students become more responsible when they know their peers and teacher are evaluating their input. 6. Enables peer learning. Group work allows students to learn from each other's strengths and knowledge. 7. Encourages self-reflection. When students reflect on their group role, they develop better self-awareness and growth mindset. Disadvantages of group evaluation. Disadvantage explanation. 1. Unequal participation. Some students may do most of the work while others contribute very little, but all may receive the same grade. 2. Conflict among members. Differences in opinion, work styles, or commitment can cause tension or arguments. 3. Bias in peer evaluations. Friends might give each other high marks, while others might be unfairly critical due to personal issues. 4. Difficulty in assessing individual contribution. It can be hard for the teacher to fairly assess how much each member contributed to the group outcome. 5. Pressure on high-performing students. More capable students might feel burdened to carry the group and ensure the quality of the final product. 6. Time-consuming. Organizing group work, monitoring progress, and conducting evaluations take more time than individual tasks. 7. Can lower motivation. Some students may feel their hard work is not recognized if group marks are shared equally. Tips to improve group evaluation. Use a combination of individual and group grades. Provide a clear rubric for group evaluation. Encourage self and peer assessment within the group. Monitor group progress regularly. Teach group work skills like leadership, cooperation, and communication. Allow group members to reflect on what worked and what didn't. Conclusion. Group evaluation is an effective way to assess collaboration, communication, and problem-solving skills. However, it must be carefully managed to ensure fairness, balance, and equal participation. When done correctly, it enhances not only academic learning but also essential life skills. Open-ended questions. What are open-ended questions? Open-ended questions are questions that do not have a single correct answer. They allow students to respond in their own words, express opinions, explain ideas, and provide reasoning. Definition. An open-ended question is a question that encourages a full, meaningful answer using the student's own knowledge, experiences, and understanding rather than a simple yes or no or a one-word response. Examples of open-ended questions. What do you understand by the term climate change? Why do you think honesty is important in relationships? How would you solve this problem differently? What lesson did you learn from this story? Advantages of open-ended questions in the CCE system. The CCE, Continuous and Comprehensive Evaluation, system emphasizes overall development of students, not just academic knowledge, but also skills, attitudes, values, and creativity. Here's how open-ended questions support this. 1. Promotes critical thinking. Students must analyze, evaluate, and create ideas. Encourages higher-order thinking rather than rote memorization. Example: instead of "Who was the first president of India?" ask "What qualities made Dr. Rajendra Prasad a good leader?" Definition of thinking. Thinking is the mental process of using the brain to form ideas, make decisions, solve problems, reflect, reason, and imagine. It involves manipulating information in the mind to understand the world, plan actions, or draw conclusions. Simple definition: thinking is the process of using your mind to consider something carefully, understand it, or make a decision about it. Various types of thinking. Thinking can take many forms depending on the purpose, method, and context. Below are the main types of thinking. 1. Critical thinking. Involves analyzing facts and arguments logically and objectively. Helps in making reasoned judgments and solving complex problems. Example: evaluating the pros and cons before making a decision. Though creative thinking involves generating new ideas, innovations, or original solutions. Often associated with imagination and out-of-the-box thinking. Example: designing a unique poster for a school project. Teen analytical thinking. Breaking information into parts to understand it better. Involves comparing, contrasting, and organizing information logically. Example: analyzing data in a science experiment. Problem solving. Teen heuristic method. Description: using a general rule of thumb, shortcut, or educated guess to find a solution quickly. Use when quick decisions are needed or when no algorithm exists. Example: using trial by elimination in a multiple choice test. Pros: faster than algorithms. Cons: may not always guarantee the correct answer. 4. Brainstorming. Description: generating many ideas or solutions without immediate judgment or criticism. Use creative problems needing multiple solutions. Example: a team brainstorming marketing ideas. Pros: encourages creativity, multiple options. Cons: can be chaotic without good facilitation. Punch, divide and conquer. Description: breaking a large problem into smaller, manageable parts, solving each separately. Use complex problems with multiple components. Example: fixing a car by checking each part individually. Pros: makes big problems manageable. Cons: requires good organization and planning. Problem solving. Different methods of problem solving. Problem solving is a mental process aimed at finding solutions to difficult or complex issues. Different methods can be used depending on the nature of the problem, resources, and desired outcomes. 1. Trial and error method. Description: trying different solutions until the problem is solved. Use when there's no clear strategy, small or simple problems. Example: trying different keys to open a locked door. Pros: simple, straightforward. Cons: time-consuming, inefficient for complex problems. Though algorithm method. Description: using a step-by-step, logical procedure or formula that guarantees a solution. Use problems with clear rules or procedures, e.g., math problems. Example: following a recipe to bake a cake. Pros: reliable, accurate. Cons: can be slow, rigid for complex or novel problems. Art analogical thinking. Description: using solutions from similar problems as a guide to solve the current problem. Use when a similar problem has been solved before. Example, designing a new gadget based on how a similar device works. Pros, saves time by using past knowledge. Cons, not always applicable if problems differ significantly. No, decision-making method. Description, listing possible solutions, weighing pros and cons, and choosing the best one. Use, when multiple options exist with different outcomes. Example, choosing a college based on cost, location, and courses offered. Pros, logical and systematic. Cons, can be time-consuming if options are many. Creative thinking. Creative thinking is the ability to look at problems or situations from a new perspective and come up with original, innovative, or imaginative ideas and solutions. It involves thinking beyond conventional patterns and generating ideas that are unique and useful. In simple terms, creative thinking means thinking outside the box to create something new or solve problems in novel ways. Characteristics of creative thinking. Originality. Producing ideas or solutions that are unique and different from existing ones. Avoiding clichés and routine thinking. Flexibility. Willingness to change perspectives and consider multiple approaches. Open-mindedness to new ideas. Fluency. Ability to generate a large number of ideas or solutions quickly. Elaboration. Developing and expanding ideas in detail. Adding depth and complexity to original thoughts. Curiosity. Desire to explore, ask questions, and seek new knowledge. Risk-taking, willingness to try new things even if they might fail. Imagination. Ability to visualize things not yet seen or created. Problem-solving orientation. Focus on finding solutions rather than dwelling on problems. Techniques of creative thinking. Here are some common techniques that foster and stimulate creative thinking. 1. Brainstorming. Generating many ideas quickly without judgment or criticism. Encourages free flow of thoughts and builds on others' ideas. 2. Mind mapping. Visual tool where ideas are written and connected around a central theme. Helps in organizing thoughts and seeing relationships between ideas. 3. Lateral thinking. Approaching problems from unconventional angles and using indirect reasoning. Techniques include provocation, random input, and challenge assumptions. 4. Scamper technique. A checklist method to improve or create new ideas by asking. Substitute. Creative thinking. Combine. Adapt. Modify. Put to another use. Eliminate. Rearrange. Punch role-playing. Putting oneself in another's shoes to see the problem from a different perspective. Helps generate empathy and new insights. 6 Thinking Hats. Developed by Edward de Bono, this method encourages looking at a problem from 6 distinct perspectives. White facts. Red feelings. Black caution. Yellow optimism. Green creativity. Blue process control. 7 Free writing. Writing continuously without stopping to censor or judge ideas. Helps unlock subconscious thoughts and creative ideas. Critical thinking. Definition of critical thinking. Critical thinking is the ability to analyze, evaluate, and interpret information logically and objectively in order to make reasoned judgments and informed decisions. Simple definition. Critical thinking means thinking clearly, rationally, and independently to understand situations and solve problems without bias. Key characteristics of critical thinking. Characteristic description. Analytical thinking, breaking down complex information into parts. Logical reasoning, using facts and logic rather than emotions. Open-mindedness, willing to consider other perspectives. Problem-solving, finding effective and reasoned solutions. Evidence-based thinking, making decisions based on evidence, not opinions. Curiosity, asking questions and seeking to understand. Skepticism, not accepting information without verification. Importance of critical thinking in education. Improves academic performance. Helps students understand concepts deeply, not just memorize facts. Enhances problem-solving abilities. Encourages students to evaluate problems from all angles and make logical decisions. Promotes independent thinking. Students learn to think for themselves, form their own opinions, and justify their answers. Strengthens communication. Enables students to argue logically and present ideas clearly. Supports lifelong learning. Critical thinking helps learners adapt and grow in any field or life situation. Importance of critical thinking in education. Examples of critical thinking questions. Why do you think this event happened? What evidence supports your opinion? How would you solve this problem differently? What are the possible consequences of this action? Can you identify any bias in this information? Conclusion. Critical thinking is an essential 21st century skill. It empowers learners to think independently, question deeply, and solve problems intelligently. Teachers play a vital role in encouraging critical thinking by asking open-ended questions, providing real-world problems, and fostering a classroom environment that values logic, evidence, and respectful discussion. Enhancing imagination. Definition of imagination. Imagination is the mental ability to create ideas, images, and concepts that are not directly experienced through the senses. It allows a person to visualize possibilities, explore new ideas, and think creatively. In simple terms, imagination is the power to see in the mind what is not physically present, to dream, invent, and visualize. Importance of enhancing imagination, especially in education. Enhancing imagination is crucial for a child's cognitive, emotional, and social development. It fuels creativity. Imagination is the foundation of creative thinking and innovation. Promotes problem solving. It helps students see multiple solutions to a problem. Boosts emotional intelligence. Through imaginative play or writing, students express emotions and understand others. Encourages curiosity and exploration. Imagined possibilities lead to real-world discoveries. Improves language and communication. Storytelling, reading, and role-play expand vocabulary and thinking skills. Supports future skills. Imagination helps in preparing for real-life roles like designers, writers, scientists, engineers, and entrepreneurs. Enhancing imagination. Techniques to enhance imagination in students. Here are effective methods teachers and parents can use. 1. Storytelling and creative writing. Encourage students to write or tell their own stories. Use prompts like "Imagine if animals could talk" or "What would happen if gravity disappeared?" Do visual imagery and drawing. Let students draw imaginary creatures, places, or machines. Use art to express abstract concepts, e.g., drawing what freedom looks like. 3. Role-playing and drama. Use classroom skits, plays, and simulations. Encourage children to act as characters from books or invent their own. 4. Open-ended questions. Ask questions with no right or wrong answer. What would you do if you could fly? How would you build a house underwater? 5. Use of technology. Use tools like digital storytelling apps, animation tools, or virtual reality (VR) to expand imaginative experiences. प्रिय विद्यार्थियों, कृपया इन वीडियो का लिंक अपने सभी मित्रों और सहपाठियों के साथ साझा करें। धन्यवाद।